Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. Well, this time, this is an impromptu video, one I hadn't planned in advance. So I just went out and I grabbed a big fistful of science fiction comics to go through. And just it's a sampler, science fiction sampler covering decades. And of course, we'll start off here with this one. Weird Science, number 11, originally from 1951. I think this is from a reprint from Gladstone. Is that right? Not Gladstone. That similar. I can't remember the name. Equivalent, yeah, could be Gladstone. They did Disney. Gladstone did Disney. Oh, I just saw it. Gemstone, that's it. I always get them confused. Gemstone, from 1995. And of course, incredible science fiction stories with this great Al Feldstein covers. And of course, this is EC Comics was probably overall historically one of the best comic publishers, especially consider just the short few years that they did publish that material. Primarily, okay, they did some of the best science fiction, and that didn't sell that well, surprisingly, at the time. But it's because the creators were such big science fiction fans. It was basically a sustainer, and has been one of the biggest sellers since then, as far as reprint material. Probably only behind their horror, because it's known. EC is known primarily for its horror, and then the science fiction. Then you get into the crime and the war/adventure stuff. So have a little look at this. In here it says The Conquerors of the Moon. Oh, so looks like Joe Orlando artwork here. Oh, some really, really nice stuff. Oh, they're all good stuff. Only Human. Jack Kamen. And he was, of course, more closely associated with some of the horror stuff. And another Joe Orlando. He's like, Why Papa Left Home. Oh, Joe Orlando. It's some really nice. Of course, we usually think of Wally Wood for their science fiction. Wally Wood and Al Williamson and stuff, but and then this is incredible science fiction. I guess it was originally, what was it? What did it say? The title was originally, formerly Weird Science Fiction. No, it's just Weird Science. This is Weird Science Fiction, number 11. They're both numbers 11. And from about the same time. And of course, this one does have very classic Wally Wood cover. And I forgot to put it on airplane mode. Great Wally Wood cover. Big moment about the little tiny peoples. And Kaleidoscope. Jack Davis. Yeah, Jack Davis. And he mostly did horror stuff. One Way Hero. This is Kriegstein. Yeah. They're all great stuff. Then here we have something you may not be familiar with. From Gold Key Comics, this is 1963. Steve Zodiac and the Fireball XL5. This is from Jerry Anderson's super marionation show of Fireball XL5, well, puppets. It was before Supercar and I suddenly can't think of the others and stuff. But I didn't watch the others when I was a kid. I never even heard of them until I was grown up. But I watched this when I was small. It was my introduction to science fiction. And I loved this show. And this is from Gold Key Comics. It's just a one-shot, from what I understand. Just a one-shot. It says copyright 1963, but I think, yeah, 1963. 12 cents. A great George Wilson painted cover. But the interior is very, very different. This is written by Peter Milligan and drawn by the Italian artist Alberto Fauci. And this is the spaceship and everything got me into the science fiction, all this stuff. And then their robot Robert has really got me interested in liking robots. So but these two creators, Milligan and Fauci, years later did for quite some time, I guess, worked on the British comic of Dan Dare. And that's some good stuff. Okay, then here we have, this is, I think, from 65ish, both of these two. Forbidden Worlds. This was number 15, followed by 115 and 119. AGC, ACG, American Comics Group. Look how, and this time, look how I can't find my pointer. How large the Comics Code stamp is on there. Takes up a big space, and of course, there's just unusual stories, science fiction, and some, that would fit into the horror mystery stuff, which is kind of surprising. It's this one about in the Old West, about a winged man and some weird stuff going on. Because here, the first one is the Faudio Lee story, and Ogden Whitney. I know Ogden Whitney did the art, and it's just this kid doing strange stuff with these kids, and his unusual capabilities and powers, and then it turns out, if I can get the page open, he just walks off into space, and it turns out I can't get the page open. And it turns out he is an alien from another planet. He just walks to the spaceship and gets his spacesuit back on, and stuff, and other unusual things. Science fiction and stuff. And I'm surprised here in 119 is because Kurt Schaffenberger cover drawing, and this has got some on the more spooky side in it, but it's still science fiction too. It has the first story, I just thumbing through it, has a witch, some and some monsters and stuff in it, but it also has aliens. So it still fits into science fiction. Stories of Strange Adventure. And here we go. This is 1970. Adam Strange Adventures. It was just Strange Adventures, but the lead story was Adam Strange. And it's War in Washington, 1990 AD. Oh, and of course, it doesn't have Adam Strange on the cover. It has the Atomic Knights, and they're a backup feature. It would have Adam Strange was the lead. They'd have Atomic Knights, and then one or two other unrelated science fiction stories here, like the Genius Epidemic, and Adam Strange, and because I like Adam Strange. Now, but then have the Atomic Knights, and have you watched the new series? What the heck is the name of it? It's based on the video game. and I cannot remember the name of it right now. It just popped out of my head. Fallout. Oh, gosh, based on the video game Fallout. But I was noticing, and they've even given little bits and clues to some of this, is that show, and probably the video as well, the game as well, I don't know, looks like it's a mashup between the old movie A Boy and His Dog. They even gave a nod to that one in a flashback scene when the actor, main character actor, this is before the war, it was has a poster of a movie that he was in called A Man and His Dog, and of course giving a nod to, of course, the post-apocalyptic movie of a Boy and His Dog. And so it seems to be, at least in part, a mashup between A Boy and His Dog and the Atomic Knights. At least that's the way I see it, because it's, the post-apocalyptic stuff, and they've got the knights in their armors. Of course, their technology, they're not this kind of knight, but it's just like the Atomic Knights. And here we have from 72, 64 gigantic pages, strange adventures, 7 startling stories of super science fiction, the last mile. Now, I forgot to mention that some of these I have shown before in different context. Showing the last mile of space, says the danger in Detroit, Adam Strange, menace of the Aqua Ray weapon. The day science ran wild, the Electric Man, the Hands from Nowhere, and the Mad Planet. And that one, I wanted to show you that one. Where is it? That's the Atomic Knights story. And where's that one I wanted to show you? Here it is. The Mad Planet. I did a whole episode on this artist. Virgil Finlay, who did some great illustrations for the pulp magazines in the 30s and 40s and into the 50s. And of course, this is a reprint from the 50s. But it's just his beautiful artwork. And he did some, not as much in comics as he could have, but this is when the pulps were fading and needing work. This is what this is originally from 54. Some beautiful artwork. The Day Science Ran Wild, and of course Adam Strange with Murphy Anderson or Carmen Infantino with Murphy Anderson inks, and the Atomic Knights had Murphy Anderson art. Then we go. This is from the mid-70s. I've forgotten what year. Probably 74, 75. Strange Adventures, science fiction at its best, with Adam Strange. This is classic cover. World War on Earth and Ran. Of course, that's a reprint from the story from the 60s. But this is issue 242. But then along with that we have Mystery in Space #1. I did a whole episode on this one. Mystery in Space #1 from 2004 with the same cover by different artists. Basically the same. World War on Earth and Ran. And this is a story in here that was based on, but not exactly the same as the original story from this issue. And that's some, and so they're both really great artwork. Then we have Mystery in Space #1, first issue of 6? Of 8 from 2006, and this is the only one I've got. And I don't think I've read this, which is surprising. It just got put away with some other stuff. But this is Mystery in Space with Captain Comet, and of course that makes it more superhero, but it is in space, spacey stuff, other planets and stuff. So the Captain Comet is as much a space hero as he is a superhero, and that is really, it's a nice artwork. Nothing on the back. Yeah. Then we go to here, and I've shown this one once before. Hang on, I meant to take this one out of the bag because I'm not interested so much in showing you the cover art, because it's Quest. This is a British publication, or at the very least Canadian. Well, these are the American prices, but it was from Mark DiCarlo did the cover, and I know I've shown this before. Quest Comics presents Lance Kerrigan of the Galactic Legion, and it is by Jay Disbrow. It has some beautiful and by today's standards unusual, very art. This was done from I think in the 80s, but Disbrow goes back to the 50s, and his art really looks it. But it's some very stylized and yet beautiful artwork. And then we're going to finish this up here with this, which is a change in tone, is Roswell, the Green Man, from Bongo Comics. This is number 5 from 1998. And I only have 1 or 2 issues of this. I really enjoyed it. I wonder if they've been reprinted in a trade paperback. I think if you know, let me know. Because I would like to read all of them. It's interesting. I don't know how many issues it ran. By Bill Morrison. Said, "What is the startling secret beneath the sea?" And it's almost kind of like an homage to a certain Frank Frazetta painting, but not quite. But this is, there it is. It has some beautiful stylized and stylized art, but it looks very retro. And this is got a little bit of X-Files homage to it. So some good fun stuff. Very animation looking. There's some beautiful artwork and some funny stuff. The back cover. Hot dog, another ritzy Roswell pinup. Oh, they're just pure fun. And of course, Bongo is the publisher, those who publish the Simpsons comics. So that's what I've got for you for this outing, with a fistful of classic science fiction comics. Just some science fiction comics. We've had a lot of fun, and a lot of fun with this. Most of these I haven't read in years, but I wanted to share them with you. So, and I've taken a lot longer than I had intended to. So I want to thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe, and do leave your comments down below. Are you a science fiction fan? Science fiction comic fan? The classic stuff. Do you like the older pre-code stuff? Some of the tie-in stuff? Or some of the classic DC material? Or do you have more tongue-in-cheek humor in mind? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, I'll pull that out a little bit. There we go. And remember, comics are art.